So, good morning, friends. I welcome you again on this class of video lecture, and this is BA Part 2nd English Literature, Paper 1, and we have been doing for last couple of days a very famous poem, Elegy written in a country churchyard, written by Thomas Gray. So, since there was a little gap in our classes, so I want to resume from the very first stanza. The very first stanza goes like this. I read out the stanza. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. The lowing herd wends slowly over the lea. The ploughman homeward plods his weary way and leaves the world to darkness and to me. So, the paraphrasing part of this stanza has been like this. The ringing of the evening bell, the ringing of the evening bell indicates the close of the day, and this ringing of the evening bell is coming from the church, as it was a popular tradition in the medieval times. The cattle are returning home from the meadows and they move slowly in a zigzag line. The farmers who have been hard at work during the day is walking with heavy and tired steps towards his home, and he walks, and as he walks, darkness falls over the surrounding country, followed by solitude. The poet feels quite lonely. The very last line of this stanza, you just focus on the last line, and leaves the world to darkness and to me. So, the literal meaning of this line is that since it is the time of evening, since it is the time of twilight, so the day is dying, evening is approaching, darkness is approaching, but this is not the outer darkness. The poet says there is some darkness prevailing in his heart. That's why the poet says that he feels quite lonely. This is the moment of loneliness. He feels quite lonely and leaves the world to darkness and to me. Now fades the glimmering landscape on the sight, and all the air a solemn stillness holds, save where the beetle wails his droning flight, and drowsy tingling lull the distant folds. The surrounding scene begin to grow dim and indistinct to view in the evening twilight, right? Since it is very less light, so there are not many things visible. The surrounding scene begin to grow dim and indistinct to view in the evening twilight. The air is silent and full of solemnity. The air is silent, the calm and quiet. The landscape is quite calm. Still, there are no sounds except there are some sounds, right? Since it is nature, so nature is having many different sounds. So the poet, looking to his sensibility, has been able to catch hold of those sounds. The air is silent and full of solemnity, but there are some sounds heard, such as the humming of the beetle as it makes circles in the air, and the sound of the bells tied to the neck of sheep. These are some of the sounds which are very popular. Even one can easily think of all such sounds, all such devices, from all such instruments from where these sounds are coming. Here we are supposed to catch hold of the vision of the poet, the sight of the poet, his craft particularly, and his understanding of all such music. all such rhythm and intonation. These bells are heard ringing at irregular intervals and in a dull, monotonous manner away in a far off sheepfold. So the sounds do not come at a regular interval, they come at irregular intervals, right? Save that from yonder ivy mantled tower, the mopping all dust to the moon complain of such as wandering near her secret bower, molest her ancient solitary reign. The only other sound that breaks the deep silence is the hooting of the owl from the top of the neighboring church steeple overgrown with ivy where the owl has her nest. The owl, the queen of solitude, makes a complaint to the moon against those passers by who, by walking near her concealed nest, breaks in upon her privacy or encroach upon her domain. This is a scene created by the poet, the owl making complaints. This means that the owl hoots whenever she is scared by footsteps of any intruder who may happen to disturb her. Right? So it is a scene created by the poet. Beneath those rugged elms that yew trees shed, where heaves the turf in many a mouldering heap, each in his narrow cell for ever laid, the rude forefathers of the hamlet sleep. In this churchyard lie buried the simple and ignorant ancestors of the present generation living in the villages. Now he straight comes to depict the churchyard. And who are buried in this churchyard? The poet says there's that the simple and ignorant ancestors of this present generation living in the village, they lie buried under the shade of that cluster of rough elm trees and that huge yew trees which I see over there, their graves being marked by mounds of earth slowly crumbling away. Since these graves are not well kept, not well taken care of. So beneath those rugged elms that ye trees, under the shade of ye trees, right, where heaves of turf in many a mouldering heap, each in his narrow cell forever laid. They are laid forever. They are sleeping and they will never wake up. The rude forefathers of the hamlet sleep. The rude, the ignorant, simple. This is the division of society. Huh? The forefathers of this present generation living in the villages, their forefathers are rude. They are not sophisticated. They are not elegant. They are not classy. They are not qualified. They are not well settled. They are not resourceful. Whatever, whatever the parameters, which are often, underscored in a civilized society, are not found in their society. They are rude, innocent, simple. So such innocent forefathers are laid, are buried forever under the shade of ye trees. Right? Now, stanza by stanza, line by line, we enter the domain of pathos. We enter the domain of, you know, mercy and pity. The next stanza goes like this: the breezy call of incense breathing morn, the swallow twittering from the straw belt shed, the cock's shrill clarion or the echoing horn no more shall rouse them from their lowly bed. This is from line to line, from stanza to stanza, from one sensible scene to another sensible scene. We move on to enter the domain of pathos, the domain of sensitivity. Since these forefathers, these people, these creatures are buried, lying, so no clarion call, no sound created by nature can wake up them, right? Neither the sweet smelling breeze of the morning, nor the twittering of swallows from their mud and straw nets in the thatched roofs of cottages, nor the shrill crowing of the cock, nor the sound of the huntsman's horn that starts echoes will ever again awaken them from sleep as they used to do when they were alive. When do we get awakened? When do we wake up? We wake up by the time of morning. We wake up by the sweet smelling breeze of the morning. We wake up when we listen to the twittering of swallows. And from where does this sound of swallows come? From their mud and straw nets. And where such nets are put? From the thatched roof of cottages. And we awaken when we listen to the crowing shrill sound of the cock, the clarion call, right? Ever again awaken them from sleep as they used to do when they were alive. For them no more the blazing hearth shall burn, or busy housewife ply her evening care. No children run to lisp their sire's return, or, or climb his knees the envied kiss to share. So friends, today we have done the 5 stanzas and I hope you must have understood. So now the space doesn't allow us. So thank you friends.